like to welcome you all to Kansas City for our third Trace Evidence Symposium. My name is Chuck Herrick. I'm a program manager from the National Institute of Justice, and I manage a number of grant programs out of there. I'm very pleased to see the crowd here in Kansas City for, like I said, our third Trace Evidence Symposium. And I think it goes to show the dedication that the department has to supporting trace evidence examiners around the country and the work that you do. It's quite obvious every time I attend one of these how passionate this group is about their discipline, and the people on our steering committee are exemplary of that. People like Dave Green, Amy Michaud, Chris Taylor, all the folks who helped put this agenda together are very, very passionate about keeping trace evidence in the forefront of forensic examination when many times it gets overshadowed by DNA and some other disciplines. It's still a crucial part of what we do as forensic scientists. And I hope over the next few days and yesterday that you've gotten some good information through our workshops. I know I'm very pleased with the agenda that's been put together this year and think that it is representative of the good work that is being done all the way from research and development through the cases that we'll see presented. And hopefully we'll have some thought-provoking presentations, some informative presentations, and you'll all go home at the end of this week with some information that you didn't have when you got here, something that you'll be able to take home and use in your laboratories, whether it be something you can implement in your casework or something you can present to your boss or their boss or police chief or whoever you need to talk to get more support for trace evidence analysis in your agency. I am pleased to say that I did find out last week that even with the federal budget crisis as we know it right now, that we are going to have funding to do our pattern and impression evidence symposium again next year. Some of you I know have attended that one as well as this trace symposium. And I'm very optimistic that in 2013 we will be able to have another trace evidence symposium. So even though funding is at reduced levels, we are going to still be able to support the things that we feel are very, very important to you in the community. I'd like to take a short minute to thank some of the people who have helped put this together, most specifically the staff and people at NFSTC down in Largo, Florida. Kevin Lothridge and his group, Danny Nichols here helping with the audio and video, and Abby Meyer, who is also here. And of course, all of you know Jocelyn and Margaret from JMA, who have done a great job, again, with all of the logistics and registration and everything. So when you see them, please take an opportunity to thank them for what they've been doing over the years and for this particular symposium. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce Deputy Chief Kevin Masters from the Kansas City Police Department, and he is here to do some welcoming remarks.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Charles. And on behalf of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department and Chief Jim Corwin, I want to welcome you to Kansas City, Missouri. I understand many of you who came in on Sunday may have had an adventure getting here with many of the storms across the country as well as here in Kansas City. But now that you are here, especially those of you who have never visited Kansas City, we hope you enjoy the place. Obviously, we have the Crossroads District not too far from here, Power and Light District not too far from here. You're in a great complex here at Hyatt Regency shopping mall across the way. Do enjoy the your opportunities to spend while you're here. Get you some barbecue. Make sure you get you some steaks. The Kansas City Chiefs will be playing Friday for those of you who will be in town Friday. So thank you for coming here in Kansas City, and we hope that you will find this will be a rewarding and a welcoming venue. And hopefully we'll see you again in another 2 years, or if not, 2 years after that. As the father of a 14-year-old who watches Bones and NCIS and Roselli and Owls, I believe, I think I saw somewhere on your agenda that one of the outcomes of this particular event was the ability to do everything in 45 minutes like those shows. So as a police professional, I do want you to know that we're going to hold you accountable for doing that. So once again, the crimson and blue that you see me wearing today, that's your Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. If at any time you see the uniform, you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to ask the staff. We do have some members here from our regional crime lab, the supervisor of our trace section, Kevin Weiner, as well as some of his staff. So welcome to Kansas City. Please take an opportunity to get to know us as well as the staff. Enjoy your time here, and thanks again for coming, and thank you, Charles, for bringing this particular venue to Kansas City. Guys, be safe and have a good time.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. At this time, I have to stress again that this Trace Evidence Symposium is a joint effort and co-sponsored through the Department of Justice with our sister agency, the FBI. And at this time, for some opening remarks, I'd like to introduce a forensic examiner from the Trace Evidence Unit in the FBI, Maureen Buttrell.
Hi everybody, I'm a geologist forensic examiner in the Trace Evidence Unit at the laboratory, and my management asked me to give the welcoming speech this year on behalf of the FBI, and I must admit, I was a little surprised. I'm not an administrator, I'm not a manager, I'm just a regular bench worker, just like most of you. Now granted, I have been a regular bench worker for a very long time, and I'm also the chairman of SWGMAT, but still, I'm just a bench worker. And then it occurred to me that maybe I am the most appropriate person to give this speech, because this symposium has always been about helping the bench worker. It's given by people like me who gained a little experience and expertise in their field, and also for people who, like me, would like to expand their knowledge base into areas where they are perhaps a little less familiar. This week, you're going to find me giving presentations and sitting in and listening to talks. I'll be finding people who've helped me, and I will be available to help anybody else who thinks I might have some knowledge worth sharing. I'll be making new connections. I'll be renewing some old bonds. And some of you are going to annoy the living daylights out of me because you're going to make me think about things that I should have already thought about, and I'm going to be kicking myself in the behind. And I hope that I can return the favor. And just as an aside, I'd like to say that when I showed this speech to my 15-year-old daughter, she looked at me and she said, "Mommy, are you really going to tell a whole audience full of people that you think they're annoying?" And I said, "Well, kinda." And she said, "Really?" So if this goes over well, let me know so I can tell my 15-year-old that she was wrong, because if she's right, then I'm going to have to be annoyed about that. But anyway, that is what this symposium is all about. It's about teaching and learning and talking and listening and stretching our minds and meeting new collaborators. And I have high hopes that all of us here will experience that in this week while we're at the symposium. That and some really fine barbecue and maybe a little jazz and blues thrown in. So on behalf of the FBI, I welcome everybody here to Kansas City, which is known apparently as the Paris of the Plains. And welcome to the 2011 Trace Evidence Symposium. Thank you.